Oh, g'day guys, just going to do a quick preview for the Launceston harness meeting on Wednesday night. I must admit I don't mind the Wednesday night idea, but anyway, there is a Gallops meeting on today as well, so it's a big day of racing all around in Tassie. But I'm just going to change the format of these around a little bit, try and make it a bit more time sensitive. I'm prattling on doing this, but so I'm just going to pick out one that I think is probably well worth a bet at the likely odds. I'll make it backable for all and sundry. No point throwing out best bets at $1.60 that any man then Stevie Wonder could find. So the one thing I will actually mention at the moment though, the actual harness site's down. You can see it's not actually loading. If we click on that, so. But I just actually had these open already because I've got no life. And anyway, but the one that I've settled on, on the card, is in race 5 in the form of Smiling Jeff, who's having his first go in claiming grade. It's over the 2200 metre stand start conditions. He's coming through a pretty red hot form race, whereby it was behind. I said I can't drill into the race unfortunately, but it's a red hot form race. Usain Joel, Dasher Hooley, Jacqueline ran 4th in it. We saw what he came out and did last week. The week before he led and got declared on. Driver actually got suspended for being overly aggressive early, attacking him, and still ran 4th behind, off the top of my head, and Jacqueline. So obviously he's coming through some red hot form races. He's a bit of a funny horse. He just lacks that high speed in this type of grade, so he struggled to win as he's got up in grade, but he's very genuine, so he needs the right type of run. And the one thing too, if we look through his form, actually we'll go and have a look at his last run. Like, it's not, one thing we need to take into account is obviously the form that's come out of the race subsequently. He's 3...
Mobile heads into the back.
So he draws barrier 7. And he's to go all the way back to last. He's not actually... Here he is here. And it doesn't look overly flash on face value, but you've got Jacqueline in front of him. I pointed out went like a jet this night, and we got the cash off him last week. And Smiling Jeff's following him up. Obviously Jacqueline goes 10 metres better, but Jacqueline would be $1.10 in this race. So you can see here he is here, and he just seeks the speed to go with the better ones, but he keeps whacking away okay in the straight. You'll see him, he runs 6th. So he's not that far behind Jacqueline. He's only lost about 8 metres or so. And as I mentioned, he'd be, you wouldn't be able to get on him in this race. And the other thing that we need to take into account, I've actually got all his form here. He's only had 3 stand starts in his life, and it shows 3 stands for 0-0-0. He actually, when he was struggling for form was when he went in those 3 races, but the important thing we can take out of that is that his manners are very, very good. If we just have a look in the Bernie Cup.
Very keen to get on with the job.
He draws barrier 4 or 5 here. You can see in the white colours. And we've got a horse here, Laugh Your Head Off on the inside. I reckon if you did a straw poll of any Tasmanian and asked who's the best stand start beginner in Tassie, they'd say Laugh Your Head Off. And he's crossed Laugh Your Head Off. And also the next start was in the stand.
So in these type of races,
he draws barrier 1 here, Laugh Your Head Off outside it. In barrier 3. You see just straight into a pace and pings away. And he did that in his only other stand start race as well. So, as I said, barrier 7's generally not a bad place to be. stands in Tassie. So I've got the 365 odds here. Most do tend to follow. $4. It's probably the price that you want. But I just think from there, you're pretty confident that he's going to go away quite well and should settle in the first 2 or 3. If he leads, he's probably a $2.20 pop. It won't be pretty because I said he lacks high speed, but he should be able to fend them off. And even if he's handy, he can still win because he's a good trier. So we'll make him the best bet on the card. That's race 5, number 7, Smiling Jeff. In the other races, as I said, just with the harness sight being down, I can't drill into the, into like a horse to go through its previous form. But Origin Cronk looks well graded in the first. It's not the put in, take out job that he might look on paper, though. There's a bit of speed inside him, but cool as Elvis. Easiest race he's struck in a while, but obviously you draw Barry 11 in mile races. It's no plus, no soda, so you'd stick with him. The second, this is a tricky, the fair. I've always been a fan of Home and the Bayou, but I've always said he's an underrated horse, but he's one of those horses who races best as the stalker. So he's not a great horse to back at shortish odds, and I think he'd be about, what, 450 or so in this? What is he? Oh, 380. Yeah, no, so, and it's just, they're pretty even lot. You got, whoever gets the best run out of 8, 10, 12, even 13 probably wins the race. Yeah, so forced to pick one, I'd go Home in the Bayou, but just a tough race to be confident in. The third, 14 O's, probably in. Past few runs have been a lot better than they actually read on paper. A couple of starts ago in second in track record time. Beat home Scooter Will Rev, who's since come out and franked the form. Then he ran, when did he run third to? So third to Scooter, he actually led in that occasion, which isn't his go in life. He's a far better sit sprint horse. So I think we can. And last week he drew in the car park and they ran not home in 57.6, and he had to make a long sustained run and he was out on his feet at the 200. So I think he's the one to beat there. The fourth, Yatchanyuklis did look a little disappointing on face value in Hobart. But the one thing about that race, it's going to be a pretty good form race. You've seen Beam Me Up Chopper come out of the race and win. And the only logical danger has been scratched here. Crafty Boy comes through a pretty average form race himself. There's two versions of him. What you can look like a world beater one day and an RO the next. So, but Yatsenyuk isn't going to get a better chance. Does have speed drawn inside with 1 and 2, but so wouldn't be taking too short a price. It's probably Aunt Frenzy. It's a little bit of nibble at odds on debut and led in a pretty fair race, and obviously tired, but does obviously have its share of ability. Obviously we've thrown out Smiling Jeff here. Just the dangers here. Major Callum's a good, honest horse. Gets Gareth on. Clearly the danger. The 6th, Our Summer Vacation. Obviously there was only about a metre separating the first 4 or 5 in the trot, but actually might go and have a quick look at that. It's actually a pretty good spectacle. And they're actually all well handicapped. Oops, we've gone back to the start of the meeting. And race 6. And we're just going to have a look at the replay of that, because he was clearly the best run in the race.
$2.70.
And they meet all on exactly the same handicaps. I think 10 cases might have gone back. Here's in the rat trade colours. And they stayed in Indian file. We'll just watch the last 300. Like, clearly the best run in the race. But you can see there's nothing between these horses. But you know, walked and dashed home, so did actually favour those on speed. But you can see that he actually wins in another 5 metres, so deserves favouritism. I said I'm not a huge trot fan, but I don't mind the initiative. The 7th, Adele said, clearly the best performed horse, but Barry, it's not breaking record. 2nd row in mile races will send you broke back him at short odds, but does look well in. Ruby Rose, horror draw, but the win was a lot better than it looked at Devonport. She's a standout, was gifted a race the other day when it led, but she'll be making her own luck on speed. But keep going back to Adele said, but you can't back them from there. And in the last, for 2-year-olds, good to see that there's only a couple of older horses in it, but Corrado Felicia clearly got the best 2-year-old form. Actually beat Norwester pretty comfortably in a 2-year-old race not that long ago, so deserves favouritism, but you probably can't back it. So just looking through there, Todd Rattray's got some good drives. He's on Adele said. Our summer vacation. Ectorus, Yatsen Yuklees, Fortino, Haley's Comet. It's all about $3 to $3.50. You could have a big day, and cool as Elvis. So so just to wrap it up, we'll make the best bet. Race 5, number 7, Smile and Jeff. I think about the $3.80 to $4 is around its right price. And if you just want to have a few others, I think, like I said, you're getting $3 all of Fortino, Yatsen Yuklees, and what's the trotter called? Our Summer Vacation. I think we'll just have a quick look. So Fortino $3, Yatsen Yuklees $3, Our Summer Vacation $3.20. I'd be surprised if at least one of those didn't win. So if you have the same bet on all 3 and one wins your square, a couple win, you're obviously in front. And I'm surprised the deal said no, it's a bit short from the draw. So we'll just leave it there. So race 5, number 7, Smile and Jeff, and as I said, you can do worse than back Todd Rattray in virtually every race, but his drives in races 3, 4 and 6 have something on all of them. But anyway guys, I'll wrap it up there. I'll just sort of leave it there, and I'll keep it a bit shorter. As I said, can get a bit tiresome if it's over 7 or 8 minutes, and so hopefully we've been able to spot one. But we'll leave it there, and we'll chat to you for the Friday meeting. Cheers.